Meanwhile, in a presidential campaign where both candidates have two completely different visions for the country, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump agree on this. U.S. steel should not be sold to Japan's Nippon steel. And President Joe Biden is set to block the almost $15 billion acquisition. Hundreds of U.S. steel workers have rallied in Pittsburgh in support of the deal. U.S. Steel's CEO has warned if it collapses, the company may leave the city and take thousands of jobs with it. Residents remain optimistic of what a deal could bring to Pittsburgh.
And as far as I'm concerned about the Nippon steel deal, it's going to bring money into the Pittsburgh area. You know, it's gonna make the steel mills better. You know, it's gonna take some of the pollution out. So, you know, why not let it come in?
So for more on this, let's bring in Mayor Chris Kelly of West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. He has warned that there could be severe consequences for steel in his state if Biden blocks the deal. Mayor, good to see you. Thanks for being here. So if this deal gets blocked, what could be the ramifications for your area?
We're talking about 3 steel mill plants and thousands of jobs that U.S. Steel said that are antiquated and they would close. Nippon has offered to modernize it, put billions of dollars into the plants, guarantee jobs, guarantee pensions, guarantee future of people that have worked historically. Their families have had 4 or 5 generations in U.S. Steel. This is a win-win for everybody. I know of no negative things. And what makes me little upset is all the national politicians have not talked to the people in the Mon Valley that it will affect. They don't realize the effect that it will have on their jobs. These communities, Clairton, Braddock, West Mifflin, rely on these good-paying jobs for their families, for their education, and for every steel worker that works in these 3 plants. 7 outside cursory jobs are created. The vice president is just a few miles from my house this week. She can come to my garage, which is my office, and we can sit down and talk as what is best for these individuals. They've not talked to the local unions. They're relying on the international union, who has not had one word of dialect with the local unions. You don't run a business that way. You don't say, I'm closing you up, I'm stopping this deal without talking to the people that are affected. Sorry.
Yeah, and Mayor, I think people may be wondering why the administration is trying to block this deal. Their argument is that this deal poses a national security risk, and I'm wondering what your response is to that.
God almighty. If we were to make something for the military in these plants, the military has inspectors at the sites. National security. Are we forgetting that Japan is our ally and that we have 21,000 naval people posted in Japan right now in the 7th Fleet and 3 times that amount as support personnel? You know, it's not a national security. These jobs will still be held by U.S. citizens doing U.S. jobs, doing it under the name of U.S. Steel. And there'll be modernization that will create additional jobs. This is a win-win for everybody. Absolutely.
And we've talked about the candidates at the top of the ticket this election cycle, but I also understand that you called Senator John Fetterman, who of course is your senator in Pennsylvania, to try to change his mind. I'm wondering what you've heard from him. Have you had any success dealing with him or any other leaders in Washington on this?
Listen, John Fetterman lives in the shadow of one of the plants that may close in Braddock. I was unsuccessful getting into his office to get a response. I've not heard back from Mr. Fetterman. I wish I would. You know, he has a beef with the upper management of U.S. Steel. That's fine. Don't take it out on the workers. There'll be new management. If this place sells, there'll be new management. It'll be Nippon U.S. Steel. It won't be the people that he has a grudge against. And I wish I would hear from him. I'd like to sit down with John. You know, I've met him a few times. He was the mayor. We border Braddock. We were next door neighbors.
Yeah. Pennsylvania, of course, is the most watched state this election season, the biggest battleground state. Donald Trump was able to win over many steelworkers in 2016 when he won there in Pennsylvania. What do you make of him siding with Harris and Biden on this?
Well, as far as I know, it's the only thing that they can agree on. And that's scary. I don't see Donald Trump as a businessman. How he cannot look that this is good business. We're going to invest billions of dollars into an antiquated plant to make things better, to create more jobs. How do you go against that?